Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about flying with a firearm. I get asked this question a lot every time I fly, which is every year, on both ends. People that I am meeting in my destination and people here on YouTube many times ask me, what is it like? What's the process you have to go through? And is it a hassle? So I'm here to kind of talk about that, let you know some of the general ins and outs of flying with a firearm, the do's and don'ts, and how much of a hassle I've ever run into, and maybe what you could expect. So let's get into it. So is flying with a firearm a hassle? Surprisingly, no, not really. And yes, it is legal to fly with a firearm. It is not legal to fly as a carry-on, but it is legal to fly with both long guns and pistols as checked baggage. As far as carry-on goes, it is also legal to carry on body armor. Now, TSA or the individual airline may have something to say about it the day of, so you might want to call ahead of time. But as far as legality goes, and according to the TSA, it is legal to carry on body armor. Now, of course, with your armor, you can't have loaded magazines, knives, pointy objects, the things that are already banned from carrying on. But as far as the vest or the carrier with plates in it and all the mag pouches and stuff like that, perfectly legal. Today I want to talk about carrying a pistol or checking a pistol for checked bag, flying with a pistol, because that is the majority of what I've done. So let's start with the approach. You approach the person at the check-in counter, at the counter that you get your boarding pass and things like that. Sometimes it's a kiosk, sometimes it's manned. You always want to go to the manned section of the counter if that's possible. If not, you're going to have to ask for somebody. And you want to use one of two phrases. One is generally more accepted than the other, but I use both. I would like to declare a firearm or firearms, or I would like to check firearms or firearms. Both phrases work. I've never had a problem with either phrase. The one that is generally accepted more is I'd like to declare a firearm. Hello. I need to check a firearm. Now once you do that, they're going to ask what bag it's in, things like that. Maybe not in this exact order. They're going to ask what bag it's in, things like that. They're going to have you fill out a ticket kind of like this. I'm not going to show it squared on because I've got a lot of my personal information, but you can see that there's a tag here that they have taped to my case, and they taped that to my case. I did not. They're going to ask you if it's unloaded. It better be, but you say yes. There's no ammo in the case with it. No, there's not. And fill that out, and they tape it to it.
Okay, if you can just put your phone over there and then sign the back.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Put it on this. Thank you, Morgan. This one's 46 and a half feet. There's no charge. That one's under my teeth. There you go. This one is 48 and a half. That's good. You want to put your bag out? Just need to see your ID. Alright, I just got the right Go ahead and give me
I got the tag on from the flight out. Is that, you want this off there from the flight out?
Oh, you don't have to. We
Okay.
can just put it on the top of it. I take it you don't have any ammunition?
No. Oh, and it's locked.
Alright, go ahead and put it.
Now, the case itself has to be TSA approved. Generally speaking, TSA approved means a hard case of some sort that is lockable. This has two padlocks right there, and the purpose in that is that if you take the latches up right? If you take the latches up with the locks on it, you cannot open this up enough to access the firearm that's in it. That's generally a TSA approved case. Oftentimes, hard cases, when you look at the description of them, because flying with firearms is so common now, oftentimes you'll see in the description somewhere if it is TSA approved. And of course, if you have any questions about it, you can always call the TSA and they will either direct you to a source that's going to give you all the answers or just straight up tell you yes or no. Now, this is my TSA approved case. It is an $11 case from MTN. It's an $11 or $15 case from MTN. I put my pistols in this, empty of course, and then I put this in my checked bag. This is of course locked. My checked bag has zipper locks on it. That doesn't stop anybody from cutting it open. I understand that for anybody that's going to bring that up, but it's at least some sort of a passive way of trying to keep some security. Now I'll get into the case and locks a little bit more here in a minute. So once they put the tag on your case and you tell them yes, it's all unloaded and all that stuff, this is where a couple things may change, because it can change. There's a general set of guidelines per the TSA, and then on top of those guidelines, it can be from airliner to airliner or airline company to airline company that things may change. Little nuanced pieces of it may change a little bit. Generally speaking, what happens to me is I tell them yes, it's unloaded. They check that the case is locked and they put the tag on it. I zip it back up in my checked bag and they take it and put it on the belt. What I have had happen also in the past is the same sequence, but instead of putting it on the belt, they have handed it off to a TSA agent. Now, a TSA agent will likely they will take the lock off of your case or off of your bag if you have your bag locked. If it is not a TSA lock where they have a master key for it, they may ask you to go with them to unlock the bag so that they can do a little sniffer swab around the case and to check that it is unloaded. But that has only happened to me once. One time, it took about 10 or 15 minutes extra where I had to follow TSA to their office or their room within the airport. I unlocked my bag, opened it up, I unlocked the case, opened the case up. I did not touch a gun. They just saw that the mag wells, that the grips were empty, and said okay. I closed it back up, locked it back up. They sniffed it with their little swab that they use and zipped it back up. I went back out. The lady at the check-in desk then put it on the conveyor. That's the most hassle I've ever gotten, but they weren't assholes about it. This is where I say, don't get me wrong, I think TSA should be abolished, and it's one of the most wasteful organizations in the government right next to the ATF. I believe people should be allowed to fly with guns. So it flies away with you, and once you get to your destination, one of two things will likely happen. It will either come out on the conveyor with all the rest of your bags, you pick it up, you leave with it, and all said and done, or, and this has happened to me 2 other times, it will go to the baggage claim office because it was specially handled by somebody, probably a TSA agent, but it will go to the baggage claim office and you have to go there because there's a weapon in it. So, to the case, again, this is like a $15 MTN case, just with 2 latches. This is the first time I've used these tumbler type locks, and on the bottom here you can see there where there is a keyhole, that is the master lock for the TSA. If you have any questions, if it's a TSA lock, it'll say it right on the package. So I have 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 2 for this case, and I have 2 for my bag, or 1 for my bag, 1 for my other bag, things like that. When this is locked with a pistol in it, when this is locked with a pistol in it, see that? This is what I mean by it doesn't open up enough to access the firearm. Sure, it's still plastic. I could rip this thing open if I really wanted to, but this is what they're talking about when they say there is not enough room with the latches open and the locks on to access the firearm. So that covers, of course, this is magazine in it. Of course, it would be like this in the case. No mag. I have the slide closed because I fit two pistols in here. I always fly with 2 pistols in case something happens. But I always fly with 2 pistols, you know, oriented the way they need to be, and unloaded. Now this brings up ammo and magazines. Well, how do you carry ammo and magazines? Funny enough, the actual little explosive bomb, the projectile, the cartridge, the ammo itself doesn't have to be in a locked case. So there's 2 ways I generally fly with the ammo. So this will be in my checked bag, locked, just like I said. I will have loaded magazines and boxes of ammo with me as well. Oftentimes I just have those in a sandwich bag, like a big gallon freezer bag that is just laid flat in between some clothing, and it can be in the same checked bag as your firearm. It cannot be in the same case as your firearm, but it can be in the same checked bag as your firearm. And of course, if there's not enough room there, you can put it in a separate checked bag as well. So what I normally do, again, is a gallon plastic Ziploc bag. I put a number of mags and I put a couple of boxes of ammo, put those just somewhere in the bag so it's not sloshing around, and that's that. This time I used, and this is that Vodagoo range bag that I just reviewed the other day. This time I used this. I put both of these in my large piece of checked luggage, and this had 3 boxes of ammo, 6 loaded mags, and a couple of different holsters in it, and there was other holsters just laying in the bag as well. That is all fine. That is all perfectly legitimate. You don't have to have this locked up. This doesn't, your ammo and magazines do not have to be in a hard case. Now there is one time that, and it was 10 years ago or something, when I was flying with a pistol, that I had a loaded magazine, not in the gun, not in the pistol, but I had it in the case with the pistol. And they weren't assholes about it. All they did was take my ammo. Little did I know then that they could have returned the ammo to me, and I could have just put it in a handful or in a bag in my checked bag. But no, they kept my 135 grain, I think it was 135 grain Hornady plus P 9mm, and I think they kept it for themselves. Now really quick, as far as guns go, your pistol is your pistol. There isn't a specific size, there isn't a specific number, none of that stuff for checking your firearms or flying with firearms. If it is a long gun, you're probably going to have it in a rolling Pelican type case, some sort of a TSA approved heavy duty rifle case that's not going to break apart. It's not going to break apart during baggage handling, because the baggage handlers don't give a shit about your luggage. Now the cheap rifle cases that are made like this, like the inexpensive handgun cases, those will not, and they should not be expected to hold up to the rigors of flying. I have seen those, not person, but pictures and video of those things coming out the other end just absolutely freaking shredded. But as far as pistols go, I flew with this and my 19X. If you guys didn't see the video about that before, just fine. So I hope that clears up any questions about cases, about locks, about ammo and magazines, about the condition of the firearm, the wording to use, the process that you can be expected to go through. Hope that clears all that up. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell down there, and remember to select all notifications if you want more videos from me. If you don't want more videos from me, thanks for watching this one. Leave a comment down below. Let me know why I suck and why you don't want any more of my videos. But if I don't suck, hit that notification bell. Make sure you're subscribed or still subscribed, because YouTube's been unsubscribing people. And if you want to support the channel, there's ways to do that down below in the description of the video. I've had a lot of people asking me about other platforms that I'm on: Rumble, Clapper, TikTok, things like that. I'm on Full 30. I'm on a whole bunch of them. I just don't utilize them right now. But at the end of every video, or at the description of every video, there is lists of links that you can find me in different places, from Instagram to Clapper to TikTok to Full 30, Rumble, Odyssey, things like that. There's even a link to Patreon, which is probably the best way to support me if you wanted to do that monetarily. There's all kinds of ways to, there's all kinds of things that you get with being a patron. To my patrons out there, you guys are awesome. I couldn't do this without you. And I'm going to be getting to some of those Patreon requests that you guys have for me. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll talk to you later.